This is not an exercise you just start with. Normally people, when they move to this plane of movement, start by learning to swing kettlebells from side to side first, so they can learn to not hit themselves in the knee. Then it turns into something like an outside clean instead of just a front clean moving front to back, curvilinear, outside clean moving away from our center line, not hitting ourselves in the knee, then moving to something like inside clean without hitting ourselves in the knee, and then inside circle, and then eventually outside circle. It does not matter what sport you play. If you play a sport, it doesn't matter your age. You should be doing some type of circles in your training, probably twice a week for absolutely ever. The core is designed to rotate. Your whole body is designed to move so humans can throw things. It is kind of the thing that separates us from everything else on the planet. We have thumbs and we can throw things and we can use tools. If you do not have some type of circle in your program, you probably should. Most people in the modern world experience back pain. 60% of the population, last statistic I heard, experience some type of persistent back pain. That means their back hurts some or all of the time. A really easy way to fix that is to restore basic human movement. You should practice inside circles, moving towards your center line. Think of that as the base pattern of throwing a baseball or throwing a football or throwing a tomahawk or throwing a hammer, and outside circle, moving away from your center line. Think of inside, if you want to think of it in terms of martial arts, inside is a cross and outside is a jab. The original sport in all of human history is trying to stay alive, so being good at these core movement patterns allows people to be good at a lot of other things. It increases their athleticism. Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we're going to talk about the kettlebell inside circle. The inside circle starts from rack position. It goes across our body without moving our feet. We're going to rotate towards our center line. There are 4 cues: push, swing, pull, catch. Push your arm out, swing the weight across the bottom, pull and catch. Rotate back to center, square the hips, lock the legs, rotate across. This starts from the leg. The leg starts to push, it transfers through the core, comes out the arm, push, swing, pull, catch, come back to center, rotate across, push, swing, pull, catch, rotate across, push, swing, pull, catch. Come back to center. Push the weight back, set it down, change to the other side. You should be equally good at rotating both directions. Thumb points up, thumb points down, arm is straight. Kettlebell 12 to 18 inches out in front of you, feet pointed straight ahead. Push back, bring it up to rack position. Our rack position is important. We want to have a kettlebell wrist. That means our wrist is vertical, not a barbell wrist. Handle is down at a 45-degree angle. Elbow is towards the belly button so the forearm can be vertical. When we rotate, our hand is essentially in a punch position, no bent wrist. Push, swing, pull, catch. Catch in that vertical position. Stand all the way up, rotate across. It starts from the same side leg. Push, swing, pull, catch. Catch in the opposite leg. Stand up, come back to center, rotate across. Push, swing, pull, catch. Rotate, push, swing, pull, catch. Come back to center. When you set the weight down, thumb points back, track out in front, 12 to 18 inches, return to standing. This exercise is an intermediate kettlebell exercise, and it is an adaptation of a heavy club swinging exercise. Club between the feet, thumb points down, grab the club, pick the weight up, elbow touches hip, feet pointed straight ahead. Rotate, starts from the same side leg. Push, swing, pull, catch, opposite leg, stand all the way up, straight legs, squeeze the glutes. Rotate, push, swing, pull, catch, stand all the way up, come back to center. Rotate, push, swing, pull, catch, come back to center. When you set it down, arm perfectly straight, body locked, then track down, touch the ground. Heavy clubs are much smaller in diameter, 2.5 to 4 inches in diameter, so people tend to learn this with a heavy club first. Heavy clubs are rarer than kettlebells, and kettlebells go heavier than most clubs. So people can learn to do this with a kettlebell after they have learned to do it with a club. The problem with kettlebells is they are very broad, so people need to make sure that they are not going to clock themselves in the knee when they do this. In order to do it correct, not hit yourself and get the most out of training, the key things are to point our feet straight ahead. When we rotate, if our feet are straight ahead, the arch of our foot, our knee, and our hip and our spine can all rotate the way that they're supposed to. If our feet are turned out and people start to do this, they tend to drive one knee in and they do themselves more harm in the long terms than good. Turn out causes people to do things like this. Their knee is no longer over their foot tends to collapse, the arch rolls in. When the feet are straight ahead, we should be moving our ankles, our knees, our hips, and our spine all at the same rate. If you are turning out or you have collapsed arches, you need to focus on learning to point your feet straight ahead. Think of the kettlebell inside circle as a moderate or intermediate kettlebell activity. Normally people practice the swing for at least 10 weights with a kettlebell. They practice clean and press with probably 10 weights. They practice get-ups, then they practice things like deck squats, front squats, double front squats, then they practice snatch. After you get through those 6 basics for several years, people tend to turn kettlebells into juggling, where you're throwing kettlebells around a lot, and you are going back to these rotation movement patterns. Oftentimes in the beginning, people do not do this because they do not have enough core strength in rotation to do this yet. People tend not to be training this movement in the gym almost at all. The gym tends to move straight up and down. Barbells tend to move straight up and down. All the machines at the gym tend to move in straight lines. In the real world, everything is some type of rotation. All martial arts are some type of rotation. All grappling arts are some type of rotation. Anytime you do physical labor, it is some type of rotation. Baling hay, roofing a house, it's all rotation all the time. So you should train rotation and be very, very good at it. This is not an exercise you just start with. Normally people, when they move to this plane of movement, start by learning to swing kettlebells from side to side first, so they can learn to not hit themselves in the knee. Then it turns into something like an outside clean. Instead of just a front clean moving front to back, curvilinear, outside clean, moving away from our center line, not hitting ourselves in the knee, then moving to something like inside clean without hitting ourselves in the knee, and then inside circle, and then eventually outside circle. An adjustable kettlebell is really, really good for this. Competition adjustable kettlebells are all the same size and shape, and they change weights on the inside, and they go up in half-kilogram increments if you get the Bells of Steel Wildman edition. Smaller jumps in weight are more important because the more rotation you add, the lighter the weight has to be. Deadlift, super heavy. Curvilinear movements, swings, clean and press, tend to get pretty heavy pretty quick. You're going to need to go way down in weight to work on your rotation exercises. This is a different type of core control that a lot of people in the modern world, even athletes, are not typically training. So go down in weight, point your feet straight ahead, don't hit yourself in the knee, and make sure your wrist is flat.